Hi guys, it's Andy again, and this is an update about my progress with my logic simulator using Godot engine. I've been trying quite hard recently to save my circuit format using its own custom resource file extension called circ, C-I-R-C, instead of .res, because when users use it, they will think, what does res mean? It means nothing to them, even though it's a resource in Godot. But in this context of a circuit simulation, it sounds great to call it .circ files. Anyway, I failed to do it. I couldn't get it working, but I've tried hard. I used what you do when you need a custom file extensions when saving resources is to use the resource format. Well, this is in terms of loading them, right? I should go to the data. Look at this. I'm in VS Code, Visual Studio Code. This allows us to look at files outside of the GODOT sphere of things. So I'm saving things to this data folder here, and I'm calling them .cr. These are resource files. These are Godot resource files, which I've simply renamed. They were like, before this would be called shift.res, and I just renamed it to CRC, and then trying to load it into my game using that new file extension. So what I've done is I've created, this is the way to do that according to the docs. You create a resource format loader, or rather you customize it. You extend the resource format loader and you give it a class name. I've called it this one circ format loader, and then you have to implement some functions. If I bring up the actual Godot engine, this is my game. It's called Logic Simulator, and we can look at the docs. If we go to the, let's look at the code script, and then I've uploaded, I've got the actual data, what am I talking about, data sheets, or the information, the docs for these things, such as the resource, all these resource related things. So we normally use resource loader. It's very, very simple to use that to load a resource. You just go, it's it's a singleton. That means you don't have to use a new. You just go resource loader dot, and then one of the methods, and one of them is load, which I use. So you just go load and pass it a path. You go resource and load. Sorry if you can't see it zoomed in, but I can't do that on this. And then it gives you the resource, but it has to be a file. The path has to specify a file with .res on it. So I'm trying to, it works doing it that way, but like I said, I want to customize it. So then we can use our resource format loader. Even so, on this resource load, you can hint of the type, and I put in resource, but that's not enough. You still need this resource format loader, the explanation about how it works there. And you have to implement the various methods, which you can see they're labeled as virtual methods. That means they need to be created in your extended version of this class. And there's a few of them. So I can show you what I did and tried to do. And we can do it either, we can just find it here in Godot editor. I call it circ format loader.gd. See, I've extended resource format loader, given it a class name, and I get recognized extensions that I implement that virtual function, which is mentioned in the documentation for the resource format loader. And I almost copy and paste that, and then I fill in the gaps with my stuff. So I call it a function, and it returns a pull string array of all extensions that this resource format loader responds to. So I got my circ in there as you return a pull string array, and basically I'm casting a normal array containing all of my extension names, and I've only got the one of circ. So that's that bit done. That's that first method implemented that we have to do. Then the next one is get resource type, and it's a custom resource, and all we have to do is, according to docs, you return resource. That's all fine. And then there's a check, I guess the engine itself calls this function to check, is this supported, can it get this resource type, and it passes in the path, which I ignore because I'm just going to say the resource type is the resource, which is, hold on, sorry, next, I covered that already. Next one is, does it handle a certain type, and the engine passes in the type name as a string, and it should pass in resource. And even so, I go type name, I return the bool value, I go type name equals resource. I could just ignore that and just return true. Yeah, it can handle it, go with it. And now this is the one I had a problem with. We have to implement a load function. I put a Q&A question how to do this, because I tried my best, all my ideas, and I couldn't get it to quite work, because this has to return a resource. I've got my file on the disk specified by this path. This is some parameter it passes for imported resources. The engine passes these in, which I ignore because it's not an imported resource and it's like an external one. So I'm using the path. Then I use the file class to load a file as usual. So I go file open, the path of it, and the file.read. And then the next step is what I don't understand how to do. So I posed a question on the QA website for how to do this. I tried, you can go file get var, and that should bring in an object, and you can also put true in there to do something else to do with objects. But I tried all the combinations and nothing works. I just get a null value. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't load the resource. And if you put in, instead of using this file class to read in the file and use resource loader, you get a cyclic redundancy, because if we go to main, you can see where am I doing? I'm loading my data here in the load data function. I'm using resource loader. That's what you have to do, and then you load your file name. And because the file name has this, the way this works, it scans through all the known file extensions, and I've added my new one, and that is how that works. So then, so I can't use that particular class or that function, that way of loading files within this thing, because this is called by that one. So I think I have to use file, and it doesn't work, and I don't know why. So that's my problem. So anyway, given that this doesn't work, I think it's better to go quit to project list to get out of here, because I'm gonna wipe out these changes I made. I think my last commit didn't include any of this stuff. This is my last commit into Git, so I've got backups of my other stuff. And then Git, this is the version control software I'm using. I'm going to go git stash. This will wipe out, this will transfer all the changes I made since my last commit to a stash area in a temporary place in the Git repository. And then it'll go back to how it was. And I'm not sure these all get reverted because they're not saved. Anyway, let's go there. I don't think I need to change. Let's just close that. Close a few things down. Yeah, close them all actually, these open files, because they're going to be reverted back. So let's go git stash. You see it says it's saved the working directory to a working process state on the main branch, and this is a reference to it, so I can get that back. I can pop it back if I need to later. But I think I've got a record somewhere of it anyway, this code. So if we have a look, we've still got circ, so I'm gonna edit that back to rename it to what it was before, res, and see if we can load this into the GODOT game. So we're gonna go back in there. Oh look, it's still there. That's interesting. If we look at the main.gd, actually let's just go into the GODOT code itself, and hopefully it's reverted back to how it was. Otherwise it's not going to be a useful demonstration of what's going on. Let's go to the script and let's go to the main, just check how I'm loading it now. Yeah, it's gone back to how it was. I've gone resource loader. For loading the data, I've gone resource loader. Does the file exist? And then circuit resource loader, load it, blah blah blah. So yeah, it should be as it was. It should be working fine. So let's go. Let's show you what it does. So we go to file, open. I went new. Did I? Oh, open a file. Yeah, that's fine. Back up thing, and then we're in the data. Let's go see these are circs. They won't be recognized anymore, but this is a .res. Shift register .res. Open. And oh, I just got a breakpoint there. It doesn't matter. Carry on. Ah, it's broken. It doesn't work. Oh no. Ah, so I haven't gone back fully. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, I can't show you this. I can't debug it on the fly. Invalid syntax index, invalid top string. No, I won't do that debugging on the fly. Let's just go ahead. See what it's broken. Oh dear, I can't do it. Let's go. Let's play again. I'll just show you some of the features I've done. This is pretty cool. I've got a reversing loopback. What can we do here? We can put a bus there. We can connect that there. And we can have an input. Push switch is always easy to use, so go with that. Put that there. See if you're doing that, it'll change the value. And it's reflected back to that value there. And let's have a display of the value. This one. This is going to be a good feature. See, hello. Yeah, that's right. See, now we can loop around backwards, because when you're counting on displays, it's usual to have the least significant digit there and have another one next to it. So, you know, you don't want it the other way around. And then these wires flow naturally that way. And I had a scene set up for showing you that with a counter, but because of broken things now, I can't show you. Anyway, see that 2020 working nicely. And another thing, cool thing I did, you can customize the color of the LED display and the mode, like it counts up to decimals and overflows. Then the output is like, it's like every time it goes past 10 in this case, it will send an update to the next display. Or if you have hex, it'll be after it rolls over past 15 to every 16, so you can get the hex adding up. Pretty cool. And it will save this when you save it. Let's see if we can do it. Save. And back to our data. And we will call it, we've already got display circ, but this and dot res to make sure it saves properly. No, that's disp. Now, and if I want to add another display to the scene, it will remember my settings. Let's change that back. Control S to save it. It should remember my preferences of it being this color and decimal. So let's go there. And it didn't do it. It's got hex. So that's probably a bug I need to fix. And let's new to clear this, because I made changes, wipe them out. Let's see if we can go and load this disk res again, and you can see it's loaded it again. Ding 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 ding. So I think that's a good wrap for this, and hopefully next time I can show you it working in more detail and show you how the register and the counter and the shift registers work, and maybe I'll even have some more things like a memory chip or something. So anyway, over and out, Andy. This is Andy, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye.